Ah, surprised you. I got you into detention. Yes. It's it's the detention you always like, that with your favourite teacher, so to speak. I'm not saying I'm your favourite teacher, but let's face it, it's a favourite subject. So welcome to our little detention where we'll stay back and do an extra hour or so talking about Doctor Who. See how we go. Welcome everybody. It's Sunday evening on August the 10th, 2025. Good evening, peoples of the world. Please attend carefully. We are on the Sensesphere, and we'll attend and debate whether we are missing Doctor Who, have been missing Doctor Who for some time, and whether television misses Doctor Who, whether television needs Doctor Who. Lots of talking sense, making sense chat tonight with well informed, passionate Doctor Who fans. You also included in that statement. So, welcome all. And of course, it feels like only just yesterday, but on Friday I had the Aussie passionate fans with a sharp eye on Spearhead from Space. So tune into that if you didn't see it. And do look out for a second of our News Bite series tomorrow. More news, more source details. So set your notifications on standby. That was the first one. It seemed to be popular. So another one, look out for tomorrow. But today, tonight, wherever you are we missing Doctor Who? Has it a future? Should it be axed? Is there hiatus? When's our favourite period in Doctor Who? We could go on. I want you to lead us. I want you to help us out here. We could talk all night, of course we could. And of course my friends are in. So of course, first of all, good to see you, Christian.
Glad to be here. Howdy, howdy.
Now it's a big test. If you say the answer's no, you can clear off. No.
Oh, are we missing? Well, I think we are, but it depends on how you define Doctor Who. Do you define it through classic or new?
Oh, he's going to be a killer tonight. He's always the same. But anyway, and our trio tonight is complete with Jeremy. And of course, you know what Jeremy's always doing. Look, what's he got now? Oh, well, it's another one I haven't got. Classic.
Fun.
Just working out some very hard puzzles.
Hard puzzles, yeah. How do you bring back Doctor Who successfully? That's the puzzle I want to know.
How are we?
Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. So, are we missing Doctor Who? I'm going to get on with it. You know me. If you're new to my channel, anybody, stick around. We are passionate. We are well informed. We are structured. And we will get deep into it. We don't kind of faff around. So let's get to it. And of course, Jeremy asked me just before we started today, have you bought them? Are they out there in your area? Are you looking? Or do you not give a damn anymore, Jeremy?
I understand they're in places like Bolton and York and Manchester way. I haven't seen my local BM yet because I've only just seen it. But yes, I probably will buy it.
Oh, you mentioned the word York. I'm in Yorkshire. So if you said they're in York, that means there might be about. So I'm going to have to beat the scalpers. So everybody, if you don't know what we're talking about, it seems that the character options are out again on B&M. This time you've got a 15th Doctor's TARDIS with electronic sound effects and everything, if that does your fancy. We also have Eve of the Daleks in the History of the Daleks 21 series. So, I mean, the trouble is, Jeremy and Christian, the Daleks especially are going to just look like they always have for the last few. It's just the bronze Daleks, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a new design, is it? Really, it's they're playing safe, aren't they? But is the gun attachment different?
There'll be something. There'll be one tiny little thing in the corner or something. Does anyone in the thread know? I mean, that it's. But the trouble is, we're purists. If you've started the collection, you're going to finish it and you're going to get them. This is 2 Executioner Daleks, whatever that means. So,
right.
Yeah.
Is that from the Jodie Whittaker story?
It is. And I know you watch it on a loop.
That was actually one of the better stories. It was reasonable, I suppose,
Yeah.
And do you feel it? Are you feeling the urge to get another TARDIS that makes sound effects?
Oh no, you know what I'm like. I'm a sucker for the toys.
And Christian, have you saved yourself, Christian, from ever indulging in all this?
If I were 30 years younger, I'd probably be adding to a collection. But with my mobile lifestyle, and now having relocated back to Texas and back in with family, there's just no place to put a building, growing collection.
Just,
And
just,
I know myself, if I
just,
start, I can't stop. So it's
yeah.
like, okay, I'm not going to start because I know myself.
Just a minute. Is that your shopping trolley, Brendan? You got 3
No, it's
TARDISes.
no, it's not. And that's the other thing. I wish it was. I tell you, 3 TARDISes and
No,
the
he's got
Daleks in
4.
there. Somebody photographed that. You know what they're like. They empty the shelves and then they suddenly tell everybody, "Oh, there were some in your local store." And then look at that. They've even teased us with how many they've got in. Oh, it's a cruelty. This.
They'll be charging £100 for those on eBay soon.
Well, some are
In a
charging
week.
200 quid. Some idiots. Let's not let them win. Yeah, but you know that's what they look like on the shelves, apparently, folks. Oh, sorry, the one on the right is somebody's house. If you take a look, they've bought 3
yeah.
sets of each. So that's it. It's over, folks. There's none left.
Why would you need 3 sets and three sets of Daleks?
Oh,
You know,
gee, well.
unless you are selling them on eBay, you know, on any auction site, on an auction site, any
Well,
auction
Jeremy,
site.
it's the strangest thing. I know people that collect paraphernalia and they get multiples of everything they collect, and I'm asking myself why. And they aren't selling them; they're holding on to them.
Mm. Is
Oh,
it you buy one for best and one for play?
yeah,
There
one
you
to
go.
play with. I'm only 57. I need one set to play with. I mean, honestly.
Who
I mean,
is guilty of doing that? Me.
well, I mean, that TARDIS you can see on the left, you can get an insert that goes in there if that turns you on, and you can have the
Yeah.
15th Doctor's interior. Oh, with ramps.
Just a point. Somebody threw away the box, and they thought, "Where's the interior?" And of course, it was inside the box.
Exactly.
Always keep the box. Keeps them nice
And this
and
is what I
clear from
mean.
dust.
You've got a collector down there talking
It's
about
like
that.
mine.
So there you go. And I've good to see new people and people. David Williams says, obviously, I think he works with Matt Lucas, doesn't he? Hi, Brendan and Co. Love your shows. I'm missing Doctor Who. It's been at least 8 years since anything resembling Doctor Who was on the TV. I've been watching the classics and cherry picking Pertwee and Baker. And yeah, we're gonna. Don't you worry, David Williams. We're gonna get into that debate because I understand, and that's why I prefaced it that some might quite clearly say to me, I've been missing Doctor Who for quite a long time. Other people will say you're being harsh. There's the debate. But first of all, lads, before we get going on that, I thought we should actually just remind ourselves of, I don't know, the stakes. You know my Who Pets. You know Garbage, our moderator, does great AI. Everybody check out Garbage Who channel. But he does little bits and bobs for me, of course, and this is one of them. This is one of our very best. Are you ready, folks? Here we go.
I understand you've lost a couple of scientists. Oh no.
What's wrong? It's Gooch. It's Gooch.
Look for yourself.
Gooch must have left in quite a hurry.
Yes. Yes, he must.
There you go.
And guess what I had for lunch? Boiled egg.
There you go.
As well.
That's me and Garbage mixing up the sauce and and poor Gooch. Poor Gooch. But there's proper Doctor Who for you. Although I added an RTD style to it, didn't I? With adding fart jokes and stuff like that, unfortunately. So, we'll get to a bit of Doctor Who, shall we? A bit of Doctor Who chat. So, first then, a few quickies just to get us warmed up. You know what I'm like. I mean, does this count as even news? Because people are saying they are missing Doctor Who, and you find out that Alex Kingston, River Song, might be in the next series of Strictly Come Dancing. Does that cheer you up?
I don't watch it.
Well,
And it's not a great career move for Alex Kingston, is it really? Considering the allegations that have been going on at Strictly Come Dancing at the moment.
Yeah.
That's true, but I do like Alex Kingston. I will admit that. I think she has character.
So there you go, folks. Will that ease your ills maybe next? Yeah, okay, we'll move on then. What about this one? This was fun. It is fun. Michelle Gomez, Missy. Obviously, she's going to be, is it McGonagall, or whatever they're saying, Harry Potter? I'm not a Harry Potter avid fan. So she's going to be in the new series. And of course, there was some kickback. So she did an announcement to my LGBTQ fans and especially the trans community. I want to speak directly to the concerns that have been raised about my involvement in this project. Now, what's wrong with being in Harry Potter? Oh, of course, J.K. Rowling. And you know how, yeah. I hear you, and I understand why this is painful for many. I want to be clear that I stand with trans people and I support trans rights, fully and without hesitation. And when I accepted this role, I did so as someone who always loved stories and what they meant to so many, especially those who found comfort and identity in that world. I now understand more clearly how deeply complicated and hurtful this association can feel, and I take it very seriously. Being an ally means listening, even when it's uncomfortable. What? What is going on? I mean, Missy, strong, almost like a dominatrix type when she's in Doctor Who. Sparky character. Oh my God, this feels like a bit of a kind of. I don't understand what the issue is. I have to say, yes, trans people, if they can go in a uni toilet, go for it, that sort of thing. But apart from rights, I don't know what rights have been taken away. I don't know what the big issue is. I just don't know what's going on.
Well, Brendan, I think in acting, in professional acting, it's a case of having to bend the knee. If you are a professional performer, you actually have to articulate whatever the buzz term is, or the push that people are the flags that they're waving in order to protect your career. I don't know what Michelle Gomez feels in her heart or not. I do know that I am not surprised that she's trying to get ahead of potential resistance to her by being associated with J.K. Rowling. It's not fair. No one should be forced to make these kinds of assertions. And she may feel this deeply in her heart, but I do think it's part of the promotional game if you are a professional actor.
I'm not getting this, Jeremy. I mean, we're here to
Mhm.
talk about Doctor Who, which we will, but this is what's afflicted a bit of Doctor Who, let's be frank.
Oh, yeah.
This nonsense that, right, she's an actress. She's got an acting job. It's a brilliant one in the new Harry Potter series. So there you go. Isn't that basically it? And hold on, people then complicate it by saying, but J.K. Rowling is she asserts women's rights, and that's problematic now. And then suddenly another strong woman suddenly has to do a statement like this to suddenly say, I'm an ally of you all, and not. And you're thinking, this is madness. You've got an acting job. You took it.
Mhm.
It doesn't even matter if you're working for some crazy person. It's just an acting job.
Yeah, but I mean, politics shouldn't really be coming into media and television in this aspect, really, in film and science fiction and fantasy. I mean, you just get on with the job. You just do the job, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm seeing Neville Watkins pointing out it's disappointing. He thought Michelle Gomez had more sense than that. But again, they've got to make these assertions in a public forum largely to protect their careers. And that's why for me, it's hard to take a lot of these articulations seriously, because I don't know to what degree they're doing it for promotional protection purposes, and at what point they're actually feeling like they're going to proselytize. I don't know.
Mm.
yeah, she's spouting stuff she thinks she has to get to. Nobody, look, she's either a good actress or she's not. We all agree you get jobs on merit. You have to. There should be no other game in town. J.K. Rowling is a powerful woman. We should applaud that. That's very good. In the media world, she's done very well. Well done. Single mother, blah blah blah. Well done. I mean, is there anything to actually dismiss? And of course, I just don't get why suddenly Michelle Gomez has to say stuff like this to kind of placate. And of course, My understanding really is you start to placate, they see weakness, they push even more and say, we're not accepting your apology, or she's got nothing to apologise for, she's got nothing to say, she's got an acting job, get over it. She either takes it or somebody else does. It might as well be her. So Darko24, I like Michelle Gomez, but I didn't like Missy. It is, however, saddening to see her grovel to the mob like this. Well, yeah, it does feel like, unfortunately, you will never placate everybody. People have to grow up, get perspective. She's an actress. She's taken an acting job. There's nothing else to talk about. Get over it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And isn't it? And it doesn't. It's not a good look to attack a woman and then to attack another woman and to attack another woman. I'm a bloke. I don't think women should be attacked. Sorry, it's not a good look. Richard Brown, not strong woman, weak if she apologised. I mean, she's. And even is that her statement? How many times do we see people do statements? David Tennant, we see Shooty Gatwa talking about, Eurovision. You sometimes wonder if any of these people are making any statements. Shooty Gatwa saying, my knees have gone. Well, that's a brilliant statement. Do give him that wise.
He's had too much of an ease up playing the role.
Yeah, been using them too much. Side quest nerd, Missy should have been the Rani. It's always irked you. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to irk you tonight even more, I suppose. But, so there you go. Yeah, being an ally means listening even when it's uncomfortable. I don't understand this ally talk. I mean, if I'm watching Star Wars and you've got the rebels and everything, being an ally? What is going on? Honestly, this is what really has got into every TV program, and I have to say, I'm not going to talk too much about the source tonight, but the source telling me from the inside that every script, when you send it in, that it's like Japanese knotweeds getting into it, and that has to change and that has to change. It just sounds horrific.
Well, think about the phrase taking accountability. Taking accountability suggests someone did something wrong. So, is asserting that I'm taking accountability here where it's needed, taking the job was wrong? Well, if taking the job was wrong, then don't take the job. If taking the job was not wrong, there's nothing to be taking accountability for. You did the job you were hired to do. Where's the issue?
Yeah. As regards, I can't even pronounce that because it's impossible. It's all consonants. Was my comment deleted? We are not actively deleting comments or anything unless something terrible's said. We don't do that. It's not that type of channel. So I am aware that YouTube sometimes does something that's nothing to do with me or garbage. So I don't know. Try again. Farsight, maybe Shooty's advisors can't stand him out, stitching him up. Okay, so I'm starting to crackle. We know what we do. I will, let's have a look. I will give you that, and I will be back in a minute, okay?
All right.
I think the Cybermen have been interfering again.
The Cybermen are there. They really want to go after poor Brendan. Yeah.
It could be a new sound effect that Brendan's got. Sound like Davros.
There you go. He's got one at play already. Yeah, I wish they would get past the issues that they actually have with J.K. Rowling at this point. But unfortunately, it seems to bleed over into a lot of areas in entertainment, primarily because this is a high-profile entertainment brand, and it's kind of hard to avoid. I mean, have you ever really followed the Harry Potter series in much detail?
No, I've never watched any of the films. I've never read any of the books. Not because of J.K. Rowling. I mean, if she was writing James Bond, it just wouldn't bother me. But it just Harry Potter's not really my cup of tea.
No, I hear you. I started being an English teacher, of course. A lot of my students were reading Harry Potter 25 years ago when it came out, and it was very much a big thing. And so I was somewhat taken aback when there was this big kerfuffle, is maybe 10 years ago now, over J.K. Rowling wanting women's rights to be recognized.
Yeah.
And then you had the other side of the aisle taking umbrage at that because they felt that was dismissive of their issues.
Mhm.
And now you've got Michelle Gomez just taking a job in the series is enough for her to have to come out proactively and apologize for doing an acting role and saying that she still supports that community. And I don't think that's right. I don't think actors should be forced to make that kind of apology for professional protection.
Well, I was professionally protected by appearing again. Thank you for that. Brendan's been upgraded. Yes, I hope. Is the mic okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
At the moment,
Right.
yes.
We have plans. So right. So we'll get moving. Thanks for covering there, lads. But here we go. Bit more news before we get into the debate. So Matt Lucas was giving Russell T Davies ideas about how Nardole could return to Doctor Who, and I was thinking, why? How?
No. No. Just no.
I
No.
didn't. I didn't even like the Nardole. I'm sorry, I didn't like the Nardole character. It seemed to be we had a bunch of misfits in the TARDIS, and I just thought I didn't know why we were doing it really. So to then say suddenly, bang, I've got an idea to bring him back.
I guess I'm part of the minority. I do kind of like the Nardole character, but I preface that I want to say that a little Nardole goes a long way, and the problem is he's comic relief in what he is, and you can overdo comic relief, unfortunately, very easily if it's not handled right, which is unfortunately what we got.
Well, so here we go. Davies appeared on Matt Lucas's and David Williams's podcast, Making a Scene. I haven't really done a show about it because he almost said exactly the same as he'd done in another show that I actually did do a show about. Anyway, he said, "You're kind of doomed. I worry about Nardole being left there because the Cybermen are on their way." He's referring obviously to the Dr. Falls there, with Nardole there left to protect people on a Mondasian ship as Cybermen came through all the floors below to try to get to them. And he says, "You have the power, RTD. I won't give it away, but I did give you an idea for Nardole, didn't I? It was something kind of interesting. I don't want to say in case whatever happens." Well, whatever has happened. I mean, why tell RTD? You might as well tell the postman.
Precisely. Well, I guess he's on good terms with RTD, so...
Does everybody assume that Russell T Davies is definitely coming back?
I asked again. I have a certain friend. Everybody's heard I have a certain friend.
Sauce.
Yes, and my friend likes sauce. Yeah, and I did ask the source because I keep trying to check on things, and there's so many shows coming, everybody, with a lot more quotes and topics. But I don't need to play here. But basically what Jeremy's saying, their understanding is no, not involved. No.
Well,
But sorry, before you get excited, but of course they're still under contract for another year or a year and a half, so they could do a special, and that clickbait with Billy Piper. Who's the best person to call on to write that one script? Could be RTD. But regarding a series 3 or a series 4, I think from my understanding, he's gone.
Yeah.
Gone with the wind.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to keep him around for, and we already know in terms of RTD doing another show, he typically doesn't multitask well, so he's on his other show.
Yeah.
Matt Lucas may have made a pitch so that if RTD comes back and if he crafts a special, maybe they can play with Nardole in some capacity with this new narrative idea. But I doubt that's on its way.
Yeah. And as I keep saying, I mean, I'm lucky to have a very well connected source, but the source isn't God and doesn't know every meeting that's going on in the media. But that's their understanding. That's that. Okay, then we'll keep shooting through these as we warm up. Right, some Sea Devil eggs. It looks like. we did discuss recently the trailer for the War Between the Land and the Sea, and my big question tonight to everybody, obviously, is: are you missing Doctor Who? And of course, if my question is, are you missing Doctor Who? Well, if the answer is yes, you are. What are we filling our time with? So, of course, one of the things could be looking forward to this. I'm not saying it with sarcasm. It's just that there's 5 episodes coming up. If you are missing it, the snag is that there was a story about Unit's online archive, because San Diego Comic Con was on, and they had the black archive, so to speak, of Unit, and they may have given away a little bit more, is their understanding. So here we go. I'll just show you this first of all. The spin-off looks to be heading for an autumn transmission date with the launch of Unit Headquarters website designed to build anticipation, Jeremy. So when I come off this slide, I'm looking for anticipation from your face, right? Visitors to the Unit site, which can be accessed with a BBC Online account, can read messages from Kate Lethbridge Stewart about that she's finished doing the dishes and Ibrahim's just left her bed. And Osgood, as well as browse the Black Archive, sounds an inventory of top secret artifacts. I mean, and Cultbox, as you know, another website, speculates that Homo aqua could be a term for the sea devils because there's a Homo aqua egg. I mean, let's see there's my excitement. Way! I mean, is this filling your terrible wilderness period?
No.
I get no energy from this at all. I really don't. This is going to put the Doctor Who fans to sleep. There's nothing here to excite them.
Not that.
There's no Doctor Who. It's missing
There-
Doctor Who, the central character.
Yes, and that's one of the things we might say tonight, Jeremy, which is, well, when was the last time did we have a good, strong Doctor Who central character? So we're warming up, aren't we? But basically, for everybody, this is the Unit archive to build up anticipation. As I flick through these, watch the lads get more and more excited.
It would actually be better if they held this back till Christmas.
Yeah,
Do you think?
that's what I was thinking, Jeremy. They don't have a Christmas special lined up. They've already got these 5 episodes in the can. Go ahead and roll them out in December.
I mean, if it's very, very good, then they should hold it back for Christmas. If it isn't, they can put it on any old time.
Yes, I mean, so here's a logo. I mean, this is the type of thing, just to give you a taste. I won't read the whole thing. Greetings, new recruits. While things have been non-stop at Unit Tower, well, we've seen there's shoplifting in Catford to deal with. There's security breaches from dinner nannies and everything. There's mopeds driving into Unit headquarters. I mean, yes, it's been very busy. I understand. Sutex just walked in, that sort of thing. Myself and Osgood have been at work curating and cataloguing the inventory of the Black Archive. Did I hear a snoring then?
Well, they're trying to somehow galvanize audience engagement, but this presupposes that fans who are familiar with the artifacts will want to engage, and they've largely chased the fans away. So who's going to engage with this activity?
Yeah, and I'm God, I must be a purist. I want Doctor Who. The spin-offs are fine if Doctor Who's fine. If Doctor Who's not fine, I couldn't give a toss about spin-offs. I really couldn't. The Sea Devil bit is the only bit that's getting me intrigued, because everybody knows that's when I joined and started watching Doctor Who with the Sea Devils. But I also know how much I've been blooming butchered as well. But all these archives, I mean, an archive, a Harry Potter-esque book. Oh yeah, but bring it on.
I mean, if there's an intention to do a Unit series, then they should have backed up this episode with 6 smaller episodes.
Yeah,
I think they do that. But as a standoff, on a standalone story, I don't know whether it's going to get any gravity. Gravitas.
Cliff Maxwell, that's a blue fish girl. Silurians would have been better to show in their original form for the sacred factor rather than this. CRAP. Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
I know, I
Exactly.
know. I mean, look at that, a Dalek Tommy gun, the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, the TARDIS mallet. Do you know, I don't know how they dare put that up. The TARDIS mallet. Take that away and exercise it. My God, if anything got me going in Doctor Who, that TARDIS mallet, making a fantasy TARDIS with a mallet.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. If you're going to try and encourage engagement, do not plug in components that your viewers are not going to respond to. It kind of reminds me of Disney World deciding to do all Disney Star Wars elements and get rid of all the classic George Lucas elements from the 1970s because they were going to go all new. And for some reason, no one responded to it. And this smacks of the same kind of mistake.
It kind of reminds me of something out of Looney Tunes. You know, they do that with a producer mallet, and then who would produce another artifact. It's
But
like,
you've got a gun there that's more exciting than what's shown on the TV there.
yeah. It's
I
not
mean,
fully made yet, though.
it's not fully made. Here we go. You know Jeremy with his artifacts. Here we go.
There you go.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's blurring a bit. It's the cyber. From which story is that again? Yes.
This one is from the Five Doctors because it had a bit of a middle bit here in the middle, but I've shunted them together, so eventually it will be.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll switch off my I'll switch off my background. and you
But
can see
that
it
was
better.
3D printing, right?
Well, the handle was 3D printed, and the bit at the front was 3D printed, but I haven't got a 3D printer, so I had to buy that extra bit.
Yeah.
But, let me just see if I can turn off the settings, and you can see it a bit better. If you just hold on, I'll switch off the background. Right, there we go. You see it better?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that looks good on the camera. Very clear.
I've got to paint it and finish it off, and I'll sort it out
Yeah.
eventually.
So that's
And
it. So that's it, folks. That's a bit more exciting than what I'm seeing on screen there. Oh well, I mean, I've got to play fair. I mean,
Cyberman costume, the Cyberhead.
there you go, Cyberhead as well. It's all happening.
Yeah, I've got to finish this one off as well. It needs a lot of work doing to it.
Yeah, but it looks good so far. So you've been making progress.
Yeah, and I'm doing a costume as well. So I've got a boiler suit, and I've
That
rubberized it, painted it with rubber and liquid rubber. It's
Mhm.
taking ages.
So here you go, everybody. There's the Indigo device. There's that loathsome. I mean, they've designed it. I don't know. If I was 8, would I be excited? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know. Where do I go with this? I feel as though there's a lot of energy going on into trying to inject some sort of enthusiasm when actually the person who was running the show just lost the plot completely and sent us all away.
I mean, this would be great if the show was on top form.
Yeah.
If the show was on top form, then you could get into this a bit
Mhm.
more and appreciate it more. But
Yeah.
the
Well,
last the last few years, the last 8 years, have just been not great.
Well, who wants to see the Vindicator? My God, it looked a bit crap anyway. Then you've got the Homo Aqua egg from Dragonera Island on the Earth, and that's a real island. This washed up on the shores. It looks Homo Aqua in origin, but they haven't been seen on shore for decades. Filed under a warning. Watch for any disturbances. So there you go. That's so exciting. So that's how you could fill your time. Oh, lads, this is another version. If you're missing Doctor Who, remember the debate is going to come in a moment, everybody. I am still just warming us up, getting us thinking about points about are we missing Doctor Who? How do we bring it back? That sort of thing. Now, with this argument here, missing episodes, Peter Purvis is furious over the BBC junking Doctor Who stories. Well, aren't we all? Although, to be fair, they didn't really know that people would want to rewatch them, did they? That's the other point.
Mm.
But look at that. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. I love my colorizations. There's Peter Purvis with William Hartnell. I think it's the Daleks' master plan. One of those.
Yeah.
Is it Kemble? Anyway, this is Peter Purvis in action, saying the closest thing I feel is anger. I'm furious the BBC was so profligate and unthinking. They didn't even archive the telescene copies. How stupid is that? It's a great shame the massacre has gone. I'd like to see the Mythmakers again. I think the fans want the Daleks master plan. Not a chance. I doubt it'll ever turn up. He sounds pretty angry.
Well, he's got a good point. I mean, how many of the people in the thread, how many of us at home have a junk drawer? You've got something, you don't know if you're going to be able to use it again, but you don't want to throw it away, so you put it in the drawer because maybe one day you'll use it. I mean, they didn't have the presence of mind to even think of a junk drawer to put the items in, just in case someone might want it in the future. There was no presence of mind at all to archive the material for future generations. And for the life of me, I don't understand any argument that said there was just no space or we wanted to wipe the tapes and use them over again. It makes no logical sense to me.
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
I mean, a lot of it goes on around the world. I mean, a lot of television stations have junked so much stuff over the years because they think commercially no one's going to be interested in it. But we know differently.
yeah, well, it just sums it all up, doesn't it? I mean, but there you go. Marco Polo is the one I suppose I'm most intrigued by. I see these colorized shots and I just think, oh, it sounds like a great yarn. I've read the book, and oh, you hear about some private collectors might have a couple. I mean,
Well,
just
there is that possibility because Fabulous Film, they're trying to find film cans and doing audits for film collectors. So some of these old shows may turn up.
And I do have Philip Morris on a promise to come back on, and I will promise to ask a few questions about what his state of play is and what he knows from behind the scenes. So Philip Morris, I'm hoping to get back on. It's just he's a busy man. I mean, Christian, if you could wish for a second, now we're in the wilderness years too, and you were really wanting us to find something, what would you really personally want us to find?
Personally, I'd start with Marco Polo, but for me, it's any of the missing first and second Doctor stories. Because when I went through the rewatching process, I was finding any format that I could consume, could digest them in, and kept thinking, why can't I watch the full story as it originally aired? Anything that was missing, but I keep going back to Marco Polo as a starting point.
Yeah, and as I can see here from Bill Silver, I would rather see the missing episodes return than another series of the show. Yeah, that's why I've mentioned this actually, Bill, because I'm at that point. If they could find another Web of Fear, a version of when I'm, something like Web of Fear, something like Tomb of the Cybermen, another missing classic. If they can find something like Marco Polo, fill in some of the blanks with Master Plan, as Peter Purvis says, the massacre. Come on, Mythmakers. Remember, I was at Utopia in Milton Keynes, and bless her, the actress who was in Mythmakers. All she said was that she'd done some audio on Mythmakers, and suddenly everybody in the room is tweeting that the Mythmakers will be the next one out. Just that's
I'm
just
remembering what was it? The Celestial Toymaker would be fun to watch in its original form.
Yeah.
And
well, you've got Farsight's in Abominable Snowmen. Why have you picked on that one? It's the one I can't say. The Darko 24, the Daleks Master Plan Part 12. Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot that, Stephen. I would love for them to find the power of the Daleks. Well, yeah. I mean, for lots of reasons. Historically, yeah, the first ever regeneration, the first kind of regeneration, post-regeneration story and how it worked. His experimentation as an actor then. Bubbles here. We should think ourselves lucky because they had started to wipe Pertwee too and would have continued into early Baker. Yeah, tell me about it, Bubbles. I mean, dear God, it could have been a chasm left. But we are lucky. We'll always think ourselves lucky. You're all lucky, everybody, to be tuned into our channel. And of course, do you fancy another kind of cheeky look at a cliffhanger? Shall we look at? I mean, Jeremy, Genesis of the Daleks is good, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Christian, Genesis of the Daleks. Do you fancy a cliffhanger?
Oh yes. Oh
All
yes.
right. Brendan, and helped by Garbage. Garbage, who remember everybody, we are here to please. There you go. That was all right. Wasn't it? She survived. There you go.
She survived full transformation into Who-Pet form.
She was, I think she was DEI'd in the process.
There you go.
I think it's a classic. It's an upgrade. As she falls, she turns into a DEI version of Liz Sladen. So there you go, everybody. I'm ticking as many boxes as I can. It's unbelievable. So if you like those and think we're mad, me and Garbage, well, we'll do more cliffhangers where we do a little different version of them. So let's move on. Oh, there you go. I'm cheering you. Here's a cliffhanger. What's he going to do next?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh,
What I want to know is, are his undies the same colour? Because honestly, everything seems to be matching. What the hell's going on?
Is he camouflaging himself into the background?
He's so
there you
embarrassed.
go.
Yeah, he's so embarrassed by what happened in Doctor Who. He's trying to hide.
Oh
How's
my
his
God.
knees doing?
He needed to make sure the chairs were in the same color and pattern so he could just totally bleed into the background.
How are his knees? Is he resting his knees?
Oh,
I'm
no,
very concerned for his knees.
I know he's had to cancel his paper round. He's had to stop doing certain things. Yeah, it's such a shame. So there you go. I'm covering all angles here. Now, as you know, we are here to talk about what we truly feel as fans about. Are we missing Doctor Who? When did it start to go wrong? Actually, can we bring it back? And I'm not going to lead this. I want the thread and obviously my two pals to actually say what they truly are thinking, because we've now had a month or two to really think about this, about where is Doctor Who now in state of play. Now, just to give everybody a bit of context, and as you know, it's because I'm the source whisperer and I have actually been getting details. So here's some more details to remind you of our present situation. There you go. So this first one here, this is what my source said. The Guardian said it, the Telegraph. Everybody's coming out and saying their new Doctor Who season 1 and 2 was terrible. They all agreed to say it's not because but they all agreed to say it's not because that's what the media does. You all phone each other up and say, this is effing horrendous. Look, we'll throw you a bite, give you a special, just lay off. That's what goes on. We know that. There's all these trade-offs. But now it's too big. The noise is too big. That Doctor Who was terrible, was effing horrendous, Jeremy.
Yes, that's what we already knew. That's why I switched off. I didn't watch it.
But that is a concern, Christian, because if everybody in the media is thinking the same thing, that doesn't sound as though we're going to get ahead of steam to bring it back fast.
Well, that's true. They're saying it's terrible. Because it's terrible, why bring it back? So there's no verbiage in here that says there was a problem. It used to be good. We know what made it good. Therefore, we want to encourage the BBC to do better because it can be brought back in proper form. We don't hear that kind of verbiage. This is just an excuse to keep it stone dead.
I think it'll come back when there's a hunger and a need for it, and people will start banging on the door of the BBC. So when are you going to bring back Doctor Who, etc., etc.?
Is that what you think? That regarding my big question, Jeremy, regarding are we missing Doctor Who, and when we need the appetite to come back first,
Yeah,
If anyone hears noise, I've got a dog. I'm dog sitting. He's probably trying to, attack one of the Who pets and take away their privileges. No consent allowed. Jamie will eradicate him. So, Jeremy, are you thinking? Oh my God, this is why the wilderness years need to happen. That actually we need people to kind of slightly forget to actually build up a hunger for Doctor Who again. If they do,
yeah, build up the hunger for Doctor Who, and when there's a hunger for it, then they can bring the show back. But at the moment, I don't see that happening. I don't see the hunger out there for the show.
can I just say, Christine, I think it's even harder than that, I am worried that the way the world is, the way people's concentration spans are, the way TV styles are now, I don't know if Doctor Who, the way we like Doctor Who, will ever really come back.
I think that's a legitimate concern. Uh, I missed classic Doctor Who when New Who got started because I wanted the serialized format and I felt that they were missing some potential. There were some good stories, but eventually, even the good storytelling started to stop about a decade ago, and we got what we have recently. Uh, in my mind, there's a twofold problem. One is that the last 10 years have created such a deep layer of substandard Doctor Who that a lot of people that are around today will associate it negatively instead of remembering the glory days. At the same time, the marketplace model has changed. People don't consume media in quite the same way. And the likelihood that you're going to get any studio financing the creation of, say, 20 standalone stories in a given season, that's not going to happen. You'll be lucky to get a special a year.
Are we
Yeah.
right? Okay, I'm going to say it. And if anyone's new to this channel, you need to know that I actually will ask questions to prompt, to poke, to trigger, to provoke debate. Doesn't mean that the question I say means I believe all this. But are we part of the problem? Because one of the criticisms, Christine and Jeremy, is some people say we're the problem. We're the ones who slagged off Doctor Who. So in the end, we get what we want. And if we keep slagging it off or being critical or being naughty or being negative, it'll never come back. Silence, shut up. That's the argument on the other side, isn't it?
It is, but let me give you this one response. If we don't come back and say we expect standards to be met, i.e., we want quality, and we just take whatever they give us, then we're not getting Doctor Who anyway. So the question is, do you stand your ground and insist on quality, or do you just consume whatever they say? Ncuti Gatwa, the best doctor in all of human history. We could handle him for another 40 years of prancing about the screen, and we'll just suck it up. I don't think people are going to do that.
And this is the problem, Jeremy. I can see the Oracle here says it hasn't been sci-fi for so long now. We've got Steve Reeder saying, I miss intelligent, proper sci-fi. This is the problem. Ncuti Gatwa's version, RTD2's version of Doctor Who, in fact, almost the whole New Who project, was a diluted, colorized version of Doctor Who. Very much lightened. The Dark Doctor Who, I think it's just gone.
I think certainly the 25-minute format has gone. I think it will just be 45 minutes or 50-minute episodes. Part 1 and part 2, probably.
Don't you think, Jeremy? And I will put a slide up in a minute about concentration spans in TV. Surely the 25-minute format is exactly what we need now because of the shorter concentration spans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with the 25-minute format, but I think that the way that the TV industry is at the moment, I think they're just only interested in doing a 45-minute or 50-minute format of one episode. And again, you don't have enough time to build up a world and monsters and characters and characterization in 45 minutes. It's just whether the episode is a classic episode or not. Occasionally, they can pull it off. For instance, like with Midnight, which they did brilliantly, but that's just a rare gem.
Yeah. Rose Kirby here, I feel your pain. Doesn't anyone remember what happened in 1989? I patiently waited for 3 months for it to come back. I won't be doing that this time. Oh, Christian, it is soul destroying, but everybody I think needs to realize from bits I'm hearing in the industry, it's going to be 2 years at least before we even get anybody possibly committed to starting something. And then that's the moment they actually start to plan pre-production. This is going to be at least, oh God, about 4 years at least.
Well,
At
that's
least.
that's
Yeah.
why I think that if they were smart, if they were really smart, they'd go in and say, okay, what we're going to do is promote Classic Who. This is where it goes back to you showing us and talking about the missing episodes. We're going to put full steam ahead the recreation of the classic missing stories, and we're going to celebrate that and try and fill the gap over the course of the next 4 years so that people have something to look forward to. And the most current iteration is these reconstructed missing episodes to get people excited for the property again. And that way you can kind of keep the energy going. The pump is still primed. And yet I don't think they have the presence of mind to do anything like that.
And you've got great friends in the thread. There's loads of people. Farsight, I don't miss post 2005 Who at all. It was a relief when it ended. David Harding in Toronto. My broken record is surfacing again. Doctor Who needs to go away for a good long rest. That's presuming it will come back at all. And remember, memories with Lorraine Hegacy, will she hit us again? I doubt it. We were lucky. Mad Mackham, I can't watch anything 2005 onwards like Farsight, as now I see the seeds growing year on year that grew the horror that was the last two series. New Who is dead to me. Lee Smith, we want quality. Zach Witten, I think Bad Wolf may make a special or two in the next year or so to see out their contract. That is everybody wants absolute answers, and of course we're in that kind of interregnum. That's what my source thinks too. There's no season 3, of course there isn't.
No.
But whether they want to throw, but I have got a special coming up, a Newsbite special, not tomorrow, not that one, but where the source gives us more details about, well, if there was a one-off, why would there be a one-off or not a one-off? So I'll tease everybody on that one because I've got a lot to say about that one. But what are your thoughts then about... I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think once it goes away, I think it goes away because I just think the whole landscape of TV has shifted so far away. I mean, we are already admitting we're not going to get classic Doctor Who in any guise back. So then the argument is, do you want light Doctor Who if it comes? I don't know if I really want it to come back and just be a very, very pale imitation.
It needs a complete reboot, and it needs to make sure that Russell T Davies is nowhere near the show, writing for it or producing it or being an executive producer somewhere in Manchester. Forget it.
No. Jeremy, you're right. I think Mad Mackham is right, and Farsight. I have a hard time now looking at anything from 2005 onwards because by association, we now are so sensitized to what we would recognize as RTD markers that we can't enjoy it. So you're basically having to go all the way back to 1989 and prior to find stories that we find acceptable. But I think Brendan is also right. It's going to be hard to bring back given the changing media consumption landscape. And I would not be surprised if what will happen with the development of AI and various digital download programs, someone provides you the program on your computer and you plug in the criteria of what you want to create the story you want to see. And all of a sudden, this new program manifests it. And if it becomes that individualized, the idea of a grand TV series stops.
What Christian has just said, I will just kind of go... Right. Say no more for now, as in I'll say no more for now. I know bits and bobs. and I may be able to even show on this channel an exclusive, but it all just depends on negotiations at the moment. But if everybody just remembers what Christian was just saying, do you want to remind them slightly what you were saying? And I will just go.
Just wait for the programs to come out. People will pick, choose, and create their version that they want to see at home.
So there, and he also mentioned a kind of platform. Andy's Vinyl. Anything less than an 8-year gap risks another poor quality showing. The shadow of RTD and his thinking has to disappear for good, and unfortunately, that may take a while. The other complication is, I know you're saying 8 years, Andy's Vinyl, but the complication this time is even worse because from the colorized edits, from every regeneration, he's kind of Sutek, toy maker, he's really poisoned Classic Who as well. And to unwrap, we were worried about the Timeless Child. Do you know what? I almost don't give it a flicker of interest now because so much has been played with that I think to unravel this is going to take a monumental effort.
Yeah,
Which is why, Jeremy, I agree with you. I actually am now a fan of hard reboot. No continuity with this series. Start again.
Yeah, that's what I said. But I think what the BBC is doing at the moment is they just say, well, we'll give it a few years, we'll save up a bit more money, and then we'll have a bit of money to splash out on a few episodes if we decide to bring it back.
Now,
which is fair enough.
Doctor Who fan 001 asks the source why the BBC don't tell us RTD has gone or why not. By the way, everybody, I did ask the source that question, and I also asked the source whether we can send questions and I can get answers back, and the answer is yes. So if you look at my Gmail address down at the bottom or DM me on Twitter, if you send me questions, you need to put it for the source, and I'll collect them, and I will, because I talk to him 2-3 times a week, so he's up for that. But regarding that question, Doctor Who fan, ask the source why the BBC don't tell us RTD has gone or not. Well, he's not gone legally. The contract's still going for another 2 years. He's just, if you understand, think of the Doctor Who movie. Was there going to be another series of Doctor Who with Fox? No. But we all had to wait. But no announcements could be made either because technically Fox was still involved. Disney's still technically involved legally, but they're not going to do anything. It's just that legal flux of 2 more years, roughly. So they will not announce anything about RTD because, by God, that would break the contract. You can't do that. He is still in contract. So it's just a mess, Doctor Who fan, that's all.
I mean, unless they buy him out of the contract.
Which would be expensive. He's already been paid twice. Remember, everybody, he's been paid twice. He got the deal with Bad Wolf, and then Sony took over Bad Wolf, and he got paid again the full amount. I don't think we should be paying him a third time for the dross that we've seen. So it's a killer one, folks. It really is. So that was just that one. And of course, I will have a news bite about this, about, well, would he do a one-off and what's in it for the BBC if they do that? But on the concentration spans of TV and whether you can bring Doctor Who back and whether the version of Doctor Who we really want can ever be around, he said, as a media executive, so when you're making a show, even the first edit, they all sit around, they test it, they look at what people will stick after the first 30 seconds. Are they going to stay or not? Sometimes it's even 7 seconds. I do it myself. I press on the show. I go, whoa, no. I do it myself, right? I don't give it a second past 10 seconds. Now, they are so hypersensitive in the media to this. Now, Jeremy, if I did the deal with you and said Doctor Who will come back in 10 years, it'll be this fast, dynamic, jump cuts and everything, it'll be really fast because we have to grab everybody, the audiences of the future, who can only cope with a minute here or a second there. Would you want it?
Probably not, no. Maybe because I'm old-fashioned and I prefer the classic series, and a little bit of New Who. some of it anyway, but certainly not the last 8 years. As long as the direction is good and interesting, in the style of, say, like Hitchcock or Orson Welles, then yeah, it would sort of grab my attention a bit.
The thing is, Christine, I'm worried about this. We've said this a few times, and people have mentioned it in the threads later and said, Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, over 4 episodes or 6 episodes, allowed subplots, characterization to breathe, lovely little nuances. There's no time in 45 minutes. I'd be worried if this is the future of very, very short concentration spans. You might as well have that version of the War Games and the Daleks where you get some disco music on and you jump around and they run up and down the Dalek city, with a rainbow flag. I mean, come on, is that the future?
It may well be the future. I'm hoping that we'll see things pivot back a bit. I would say this. Whatever is crafted and placed on the screen has to be compelling. The very first time you saw Gatwa appear prancing on the club floor in a skirt, twirling around, was that something that would grab most viewers? Probably not. Most people would say, okay, I'm going to go watch something else. What you have to do is cast effectively and craft your opening scenes in a way that grab and draw in the viewer at that point. And hopefully, if you've written it well, you can train them to extend their attention spans a little bit longer than they've been given credit for being capable of handling.
I see Sadako, he said, really after Logopoulos. I mean, gosh, even the Peter Davison years. I mean, I struggled getting used to it not being Tom Baker, but I did actually enjoy it, and I enjoyed a lot of Colin Baker as well. The first season of his, when of course he was undoctored and unfiltered before the nonsense really started. I mean, if we were going to play that game, Jeremy, when do you think Doctor Who just started to go properly wrong?
When Chris Chibnall took over.
So later in the game.
I would say the last year of Moffat, probably. But when Chris Chibnall took over, wow, really bad. And then of course Russell T Davies, number 2. He was just terrible.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good questions coming here, so I'm going to play fair here. Rose Kirby, do you ask yourself, do I need to watch Doctor Who to get my Doctor Who fix? We've just finished watching Spearhead from Space and got a lot out of it. In fact, it was great to see the Blu-ray collection looking that good. We're watching The Mind Robber at the moment. Again, and so basically, I'm not a purist, folks. There's some classic Doctor Who I think is tanks. It's awful. But luckily, it moves on after that story.
Episode 1's quite quick. It's only about 18 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's made for a modern audience. So, yeah, I still like my daily Doctor Who fix. I'm really concerned that if I have to keep doing this, I'm going to run out of the classics. As in, you're going to start to get to know them so well. I'll be like one of those Monty Python fans who knows the script to the Dead Parrot sketch. You know what I mean? It'll be like just too much, and it might ruin your memory.
There's always the Big Finish audio CDs and the Target readings as well. You can go through.
Yeah, I know we have to pick. I know we have to pick through them a little bit, though, don't we? Tony Farrell. Youngsters don't have a shortened attention span. They're like everyone else. They want to be grabbed and to have something of quality which will enable them to suspend their disbelief. Tony Farrell, having been. Oh, here we go. I used to be a teacher. Well, I also agree with you. We weren't educating numbskulls. They really did attend. They really did, focus. You had to focus in my class. I'm sorry. I just worry that the media executives are patronising. The media executives can't cope. As my source said, even he, after 10 seconds, sometimes thinks this is not, it's not going to land. And then you think, oh, God. But, I've said the words. I should have had a toxic alarm, Christian. Me and you, we did used to be teachers. Did you know I'm Brendan Noble, former teacher. Yes, we know who you are.
Hello.
Doctor, wouldn't mind cloning you. Typical sense sphere. Yeah, thanks to Garbage Who. Naughty, naughty, naughty. So, yes, I don't know. I'm worried about the attention spans. So, I'm moving attention span on while my little dog in the corner there is huffing and puffing. His attention span's appalling.
I was going to say, and probably the main problem is there's probably too much TV on, and maybe that's having an effect on attention span. There's a lot of media now compared to say 50 years ago. You know, when you only had about what BBC One ITV and BBC Two.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part and parcel of the problem.
Neil Gaddy, Doctor Who's just resting. Yeah, it might be a long rest. Rest in peace. I don't know. I just think it's in a pickle. Mark Gatiss. Now I'm not doing a repeat of everything he said recently on my show as well. The grumpy old fans and all the rest of it. We all know what we think about that. But he did say, I don't think anyone knows what's going on with Doctor Who. So basically, he did give us that unhelpful chestnut, and he also said maybe it's time for Doctor Who to have another rest. So are we all in agreement with Mark on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But is that the only thing he said? Let's have a look. It's been back for 20 years, which is an awfully long time, almost as long as its original run. That's pretty spectacular. So maybe it's time for another rest. I really don't know. I only know that I still love the show with all my heart. As an obsessed student of the genre, I always wanted to play a detective, and every detective needs a thing. Books is the notion, and yet that's when he starts talking about his new series that he's doing, Bookish, if anybody's a fan of Mark Gatiss. But I don't know. Some of us are saying, well, New Who was a version of Doctor Who, but I actually think they're missing the point. If only they could bring back proper Doctor Who, darker Doctor Who, thrills and spills Doctor Who, subplot Doctor Who, good characterization Doctor Who.
Well, they could if they could have brought it back in proper form. And here's the thing: people keep talking about superhero fatigue or sci-fi fatigue. People are burned out on it. They're not burned out on quality. They're burned out on substandard releases.
Yeah.
If they had been giving us quality Doctor Who for the last 20 years, no breaks, all good stuff, people would still be clamoring for more. But they gave us roughly 8 years of garbage.
Exactly.
Yep. So we've got Bill Silver. The whole idea behind the Timeless Children was, all the faces from the brain of Morbius were the Doctor. No, they weren't. They were Morbius. That was, unless, look, we can go meta. We know for a fact it was a silly little joke. It was a silly joke of half the blooming backroom staff all sticking their face on there. And it wasn't meant to be taken that blooming seriously. And then you find decades later, you'll get somebody on the other side of the Doctor Who fan debate saying, these are now kosher. This shows you there were doctors before William Hartnell. Well, I'm sorry. On that hill, I'm going to stand and fight. No. And it was never meant to do that either, was it?
It wasn't.
So, good old Mark Gatiss. There's his grumpy old fans comment. Which is, thank you for that, Mark. We are all grumpy old fans when we know what we know. And of course, recently, I was amazed at some streamers that must be so desperate for views, had to do shows on this. BBC Studios really committed to Doctor Who. It was the annual report, and all they said was they were committed to the Doctor Who project. Well, of course, I think it's called that. It's called money. Yes, they'll make a CBeebies series of Doctor Who. Yeah, well, that shows they're committed. I think they need to be committed. But I honestly, so why people thought they could do a stream and a show about that one nonsense empty sentence, It doesn't tell me anything about what the BBC truly think. And just to remind everybody, fans love the Doctor Who brand. It's been that way since before I was in short trousers, says the head of BBC Studios. And regarding this is it, talking about Disney, they are a crucial partner and we share a lot of the same values. So I'm really proud of the way that relationship has worked. Yeah, past tense, end of. And so we're this nonsense about looking for a new streamer. The situation where we are, we're in a worse situation than in 2005. We're in a worse situation, I think, than 1989. I think we're in a worse situation than 1996 because of what has gone and happened and been shown. We've had a female doctor, for good or bad. We've tampered so much with regeneration, bi-generation, Hawks regenerations, Tinkerbell regeneration dust. We've had the Doctor being romantic. How do you unpack this? And am I really therefore just a grumpy old fan and go and get a life, Brendan?
But I mean, but also the TV industry has changed as well. It's not like how it used to be. So that's also another factor to take into consideration. But I mean, the writing's just not been very good.
I don't think we've had sci-fi writers for a long time, and I know Terence Dicks, I know Robert Holmes, I know Malcolm Hulke weren't necessarily sci-fi writers. They were just accomplished writers, very experienced writers, and then knew how to do thrills and spills and a yarn, and they certainly knew how to do characterization. My problem now, Christian, is it's gone so far away from sci-fi that I almost sound stupid saying I want it back to sci-fi. It doesn't have to be Christopher H. Bidmead sci-fi. It could be a bit of Jerry Davies, Kit Pedler sci-fi. Invent a new Cyberman story. Go for it. Fill your boots.
Well, it's possible. The problem with the current writing crop in Hollywood and at the BBC and basically in entertainment in the West is that they migrated away from what I call quality writing. What's one of the things we often saw them do with Gatwa? We're going to put tears on his face to try and tell the audience, okay, he's now sad, he's crying, he's frustrated, he's crying. And it was constant. It's artifice, it's artificial. You're trying to generate something that the story by its own merits couldn't generate. And because you've got people that don't know how to do science fiction, they try and fill that void with what amounts to CW level teenage angsting and current event referencing in order to somehow grab the audience, because the story itself doesn't stand on its own 2 feet.
Yeah, it's all very meta.
How far?
very
Yeah.
So soap opera. And,
and fan service. I have to say, I'm a fan, but don't serve me. Don't serve me. Just make good Doctor Who. I don't need Easter eggs. I don't need all these little. Just give me a good story, and I'm a happy fan. But as Mr. Squinty Mint says here, now he's the elephant in the room. I'd be up for a brand new science fiction show, but I think for Who it has to have a script and approach that blows everything else out the water to succeed. It has become very meh. It has become very bland. It hasn't been distinctive. When I did that Disney show with that leaked information that the source agreed was true, Disney was saying in their feedback, it's not distinctive. It's not grabbing anybody. It's just falling between the cracks.
I've got a question. What has there been a classic story in the last 8 years? Can you call?
Well, as I'm thinking and Christian's thinking, please thread. Has there been anything in the guise of a classic? I'm just going to say quickly, and I might be wrong, but I'm thinking that as well as doing this stream. I think me and Jamie concluded it was probably the last Capaldi story because it was quite dark. It was quite dark. As a kind of classic vibe. Wasn't quite happy how it finished. And it got spoiled by them bringing him back again to regenerate twice, really.
No, I mean Whittaker and Gatwa. Has there been a classic story, anything remotely close or near to a classic story?
Okay. I'll just try and sound reasonable. That some people have said that one of the better Gatwa ones I thought, you know, I mean, you can see I'm struggling to speak. Was 73 yards. Um, looks for a while had a nice vibe to it, but it was still very light on Doctor Who. What about you, Christian? What do you think?
I can't find certainly any of the Gatwa stories that strike me as classic. And when I think back even further to the Whittaker run, I can remember some of them. Obviously, we remember some of the worst that were in her run, but nothing stands out. The last episode I remember seeing, I have to go all the way back to Capaldi during his initial finale to find something that was dark, that had a stimulating edge to it, that kind of drew me in. I've not seen anything since.
So Farsight here says Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline.
Yeah,
through
but that's
Capaldi one.
that's a Capaldi era. Yeah, I'm not talking about Capaldi era.
Capaldi
Just
era.
Whittaker and Gatwa.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Whittaker, I've not really watched much of her stuff more than once because I just struggled to see it as it was just so boring. It
Yeah.
was so empty. Solstice Dawn is saying, will you just drop the racial and gender politics and fluffy relationship side roads and deliver excellent stories and atmosphere with charismatic actors appointed because they were the best interviewed? Solstice Dawn, it does sound sensible. As you know, I have talked to a certain person in the media, and they are saying that even their scripts, their ideas get pulled apart on this agenda. And so many writers, many producers are holding their projects back for a few years while this nonsense hopefully disappears. Why would you want to put your great idea? You might have one idea for a TV program. Why would you dare put it into the meat grinder now of DEI and all that stuff? Because it will be butchered beyond what you wanted in its origin, and then that's it. Spoiled.
Yeah, but not if you didn't want it to be. You just say no. I don't want anybody messing around with the script, the story.
Well, most
Or
TV,
period.
what my source said is most TV sadly is in that place. If you do an independent movie, yeah, you can do it your way, but well done. Try and find some finance.
Well, it seems to be one of the poison pills of certainly in science fiction entertainment, because the suits always come in and want to meddle with what could be a promising original idea. And the suits have a very strong agenda-driven orientation right now that didn't exist 20 years ago. And with that in place, I would not want a quality story that I crafted to be delivered unto them to be butchered and retooled to service their agenda, because that's the end of it.
And I have to say, yeah, I mean, there is another news bite show coming up where I actually posit an idea I've got would be my story. If you get my, just we've all got a story in us. It's our own life as a white working class lad from Middlesbrough, and it's interesting what the source says about how that would be changed. Jess Corbin, there's no shortage of quality writers, producers, and more. But first, you have to get past the narcissists, the ego, self-centered, self-righteous bigots, the DEI, and the woke. And after you've got past that, Jess, is there anything left? I agree there's quality out there, but they're not getting selected. There's quality scripts out there that I'm sure are being rejected or butchered and changed. Hence why do you hold back for a few years and see if everything changes? The source was saying a lot of producers are actually going out of the industry because actually it's a struggle. And unless you diversify, it is very hard to survive.
Well, they're the move out or they're pushed out.
Yeah, it's almost like an analogy to British pubs or stuff like that. Things are changing, and a lot of people are going, I'm not investing in this anymore. I'm clearing out of here. So some of the quality is walking away from the whole pitch, and that's a worry in itself. Good to see you, Spear. What does that say there? I'll have to get my glasses out here.
Spear Rocker.
Spear Rocker. The character of the Doctor had a very specific English aesthetic referenced through literature. He's Merlin, Gandalf, the Mad Hatter, even Mr. Badger from Wind of the Willows. Now it's agenda. And now he doesn't even have a silhouette. Yes, I think it's important that we also say, I think part of why Doctor Who suddenly just started to shift is it lost that quintessential Britishness. It just lost its quirkiness. And I know, and I'm sorry, somebody in the thread who said it earlier, I was trying to get it back up. They were saying that basically Doctor Who was always pioneering, taking risks. Sometimes it didn't work, but now it kind of plays not safe. It's just naff. It's like, a bit musical, a bit whimsical, a bit. It's not pioneering.
It lacks stakes entirely.
Yeah, and when I mean, I die inside when RTD says we're going to try and emulate Buffy or Strange New. You think, oh, we're not emulating anybody. They should be trying to emulate us. That's how far Doctor Who's soul has been gutted out. Nobody. Can anyone find me a quote in the world now? Go and grok and ask somebody. Anywhere in the world, is there any media producer in the world that says we want to emulate Doctor Who? Because they'd be mad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the old days, as I say, producers just produced it. It's a science fiction show. They didn't say, "Oh, we've got to make it a bit more like Land of the Giants or Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea or something else." It was just exactly the way they wanted to produce it.
Yeah. And just to remind everybody of this treacle we're in, I am aware the question tonight, and the lads can take me in any direction I want. Are we missing Doctor Who? Have we missed Doctor Who? Can we get it back? Reminders from my source. It's embarrassing, he says. They don't watch it, the BBC executives. It makes them millions and hundreds of millions of pounds in worldwide sales, but they don't sit through it. What they've done is they've got Russell back. He came to them, by the way. They didn't go to him. They were going to cancel the show and work out what to do later with the sales. Then Russell approached them and said, shall I come back and save the show? They're clueless. They're rudderless. They don't know what Doctor Who is. And this is what we're facing. So it's not going to come back for a long, long time. If it does come back faster, it's not going to look like Doctor Who because they're nutters. The heavyweights at the top, he says, they don't watch it. They're not even going to go and sit through it because they've got their own positions to think about. It's the problem with Doctor Who, again. Oh God, it's like the problem with this effing show. Will it go away? They want the money. They can't stand talking about it. So that's the problem we're facing, folks. And the last one, just to kind of give you a taste of the problem. The BBC don't like it. It's silly. They're all upper class, middle class, all a club. You'd be laughed at in the boys' club if you did any sci-fi. Why not just remake Bergerac? Why not just make something else? But do not touch Doctor Who with a barge pole. This is how far we are away, Christian.
Well, they don't respect the genre, and they don't respect Doctor Who specifically. But I've said this before. I think it takes a certain personality type with a certain set of interests to migrate upwards in these studios, in these bureaucratic institutions. Maybe I'm wrong, but I get the impression that most of them in general don't appreciate science fiction just in a broad sense. It's not to their taste. And therefore, they want to create something that reflects their taste, and they're going to dismiss anything that doesn't. We're in the category that they dismiss.
Yeah, Peter Tard here. It's great to see all these new names. Please like and subscribe. We've done loads of shows in 1.5 years. The science fiction element has been marginalised too much in favour of personal issues. You don't need a TARDIS for that. No, you just need to... It's almost as if the finance came to him and then he just thought, right, I'll ambush the machine. I mean, Jeremy, have you got a kind of answer to I mean, how could we get out of this? And honestly, will you allow Doctor Who to come back at any level of any quality, or would you really like us to spend, say, in the next 5 or 6 years, getting a new writing team together, a new production team, and actually go, how do we actually relaunch Doctor Who without all the crud and without all the back catalogue? It's there and you can use it if you relaunch it successfully, but you have to stand on your own 2 feet with ideas that have not been done before.
Yeah, I think you have to bring back some of the old monsters because they are kind of marker points to the success of the past success of the show, that any middle management at the BBC would be very daft if they didn't treat this program seriously. Because if you look back at 2005, 2006, and 7, how popular the show was on such even beyond my wildest dreams, that we had all the toys selling like hotcakes, and the merchandise was just flying off the shelves, which showed how popular the show was when David Tennant first took over in the new Who. But I think the answer really does lie in the past in terms of making the show retro, back to how it used to be in the 1960s and 70s, but with a newer flavour
I
to
actually
it.
said, I actually said to the detoxers on Friday that kind of the Mark Gatiss love letter, when you saw within a story about William Hartnell, you saw some lovely little reconstructions of Web Planet and various other bits, all in colour, but done, made to look like it did then. I'd love touches of that. It can be done. You don't need to keep this foraging forward with froth and nonsense. Tony Farrell here says, may I ask what your source has to say about BBC Worldwide's attitude to Doctor Who? Surely they like the money and want it to continue. I have actually mentioned that before, Tony Farrell. I think it's the first show I did on the BBC's attitude to Doctor Who a couple of Fridays ago. If you want an answer to that quickly, it's on that show. There is a section on what they say about the worldwide sales. They love the money. They just don't like us. And they want us to shut up. And they don't understand sci-fi, but they love the money. So they're never going to get rid of the back catalogue. They're always going to want some merchandise. And one thing I was told for free, Tony Farrell, is any sci-fi project, my source said, any sci-fi project, not drama, sci-fi project, you have to say all the merchandise and ideas you'd have for it. So you have to turn up, not just with a story, but with where it's going to make money, because all they're bothered about is the cash cow. And I have to say, because I did put this in very clear terms to the source, I said, right, let me guess. I'm a media executive. You've got an idea for a science fiction story. The story's a bit, but you've got some brilliant ideas how to make money. They're going to make it, aren't they? Of course they are. It's about the money, not the story. Game over.
Well, I mean, they were making toy Daleks in 1964, Dalek merchandise. So, I mean, that's nothing new, really.
But Jeremy, that's the truth of it, though, isn't it, Jeremy? That when we had the Dalek mania of the 60s, there was an element where Verity Lambert thought, let's push this further and let's just churn out some Dalek stories that weren't quality.
Yes. But, I mean, as I said, merchandise is an important part of the show. But there's some other stories that were...
Did it kill the Daleks for a while, or really?
Oh, that's because Terry Nation wanted to take them to America because he thought he could get more money by having an American series out of it, and failed.
But that was also the thing. I mean, Christian, what are your thoughts on this? Because I agree. I mean, everybody has to make money. I understand that. But there are times in Doctor Who history where they can see the merchandise before they can see the story. And I think if you do that too many times, you're going to kill your series.
Which makes perfect sense. A lot of people don't realize that merchandise is actually an adjunct to the creation of a show in the first place. When Star Wars came out in 1977, they didn't realize they were sitting on a potential merchandising manifest destiny, billions of dollars that they could have earned, and they caught up very quickly when they realized what it was. But now it's all about the merchandise first. And when you do merchandise first before the story, you will actually burn through quality storytelling, because it's all about creating something that will market a product. For those of you that are familiar with Star Wars, when they were going to do the Return of the Jedi in 1983, the idea was Chewbacca, the big hairy bloke, they were going to have the planet Endor populated by his people. But someone told George Lucas, let's chop the Wookiees in half, turn them into Ewoks, because those are little teddy bears which we can market and make money off of. And that damaged that element of that story. going for merchandise first is damaging, but it's very hard for a studio to resist.
But
I mean,
in order to go for merchandising, you've got to make sure that the show or the film that you're doing is of merit. Really,
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
so for example,
mean-
you're sat there, you're media executives in the BBC, and I'm RTD, and I'm saying to you, look, I can help you bring back Doctor Who with a few specials. One of them will be based on a comic strip with Beep the Meep, and I say that it with merchandise potential, as we've all know, they're in my cupboard now. Beep the Meeps.
Oh yeah,
So this is what I mean. But was that a story? Was there a story there, or was it just a merchandise vehicle?
there was a story, but I mean, merchandise has been going on since 1964.
It's
So
all on your house.
it's no, it's not actually. It's unfortunately, my house is not like the TARDIS. It's not bigger inside than it is on the outside. And I certainly couldn't afford to buy all the merchandise.
He's trying. He's trying. Honestly,
But
I see a conflicted Jeremy here because he's talking
no,
about good
but
old classic Doctor Who, and he's going about merchandise.
yeah, but I mean, I suppose when they were making some of these stories in the 1970s, they weren't quite thinking about merchandise. Bringing out a giant robot toy
Yeah.
in 19, well, maybe they did, I don't know. But as I say, I don't think merchandise drives some of these TV shows or films all
Except,
the time.
well,
Sometimes it does.
except I will repeat. The source said to me, if you've got a sci-fi project, you have to bring a portfolio.
Oh yeah, probably now you do. Yeah, I would
But
say so.
but I know, but you come on, these media executives, they don't have the highest IQ. They just have the biggest bloody
Yeah.
checkbook. No, they're sat there and they're going, well, is it a story? Is it interesting? Does it tick a few DI bits? Oh, it does. Not much of a story, but yeah, it ticks a few boxes. Oh, but look at all this merchandise potential. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, but
No story.
what does the management know about story writing, construction of stories, and characters, etc., etc.? All they know is it's a show. It needs merchandise. We can make some money out of the merchandise, and that's it. They won't want a breakdown of the story. I mean, some might. I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, let's say merchandise has been around for quite a while.
It
I
has, but as Peter Harrington's saying here, it was the 1990s when the suits came into the BBC that killed the corporation. Worldwide changed and all TV changed forever. Also, I think the BBC started farming out 25% of their shows and money was being made. Their sole television centre was stupid decision, that was.
Yeah.
They
But we
sold
need we need the merchandise to feel part of the show. It's part and parcel of the show, I think.
But no, but right. Oh, here we go. Everybody, you've been waiting for a debate, right? Fight. Jeremy, I know in the real world we need to make money because otherwise nothing gets made. But I also think now, after 62 years of Doctor Who, good and bad stories, I would argue that if we're going to do a hard reboot that we both agree on, that if I was given a selection of 6 stories for that hard reboot, I really shouldn't be given a damn about merchandise for now. I need 6 good stories to blast the opposition, and if there's nothing merchandise potential there, it shouldn't matter.
Now we do. I agree with you on that because we've had a very poor 8 years, basically, and the last 2 years weren't great. So we need really good science fiction writers who will write some 6 or 8 really good stories, whether there's new monsters in it or old monsters or not. And then obviously, when the show takes off again, if it does take off again, then they can think about new merchandise.
Well, what I find funny when I look at the thread and I see the commentary from the people that are following the Sensphere, I realize what a lot of talented people there are out there. I would not be surprised if we've got 166 people watching. If we wanted to create 8 quality episodes from 8 different people, that there's enough talent here to do it. There's talent here. Why isn't there talent commissioned at the BBC?
So how are we surviving on this? What could last years of no Doctor Who new? What do we do? I mean, are we just good? Are we, do we? Everyone says I've got the classics and I'll get on with the classics, but
I know what I do.
what, well,
I'm busy.
you're busy with them, yeah.
Doctor Who is omnipresent in my life.
And that's what I mean. And there's conventions. I mean, how is your soul fed everybody? Thread as well. Is it pop into some convention sometimes, going to the Peterborough Sci-Fi Museum exhibition or Neil Cole's in Allendale? Is it watching some streams, or as Rose Kirby said, after she feels like it's deja vu with last week? Well, we're in a bit of a spin cycle, but my question is still there, Rose, which is, are we missing Doctor Who? While we discuss that, we might mention, can you bring it back? And I'll give you tidbits from the source. But it's hopefully not just deja vu, because as I'm asking Christian, he's started work again. Are you missing Doctor Who? Or have you been missing Doctor Who for so long that you've got used to it now?
That's it. I've been missing it for so long, I've simply gotten used to it. I really fell off after Capaldi. I did keep up with what was on, but I wasn't watching Doctor Who. It was a facsimile. You know, we had zombie Who walking around, but it wasn't real Doctor Who. And the longer this has gone on, the more I realize I want to go all the way back to McCoy and Colin Baker and everyone before. I don't like what we've been getting. It doesn't feel like Doctor Who, and I've gotten used to it not being here. What feeds my soul now is talking to you, talking to people in the chat, watching streams, people that think kind of the way I'm feeling, and we can actually commiserate our losses together.
Yeah, I'll be watching Mind Robber Part 3 after this. Is that good or bad? If RTD gets another season, says Paul Richards, the next game up, I don't think a season is a possibility. He might get a special, and all that lot, but I will talk about that later, as I said. Sadako says, it used to be conventions and listening to Big Finish, maybe writing fanfic too. Some rewatches of classic 70s Who, but these days I've lost interest in even that. I'm more into Star Trek now. Yeah, I know. It's a really, really hard one, this. I struggle to think that there's going to be no more Doctor Who. You hear people say Doctor Who needs modernising, but I think RTD thought that's what he was doing, to be honest, especially in 2005. My worry is, as the source said about the BBC executive, that they didn't realise Doctor Who used to be scary. So for us to jump, even in a hard reboot, Jeremy and Christian, even a hard reboot, it won't be. I think it'll be just that lighter version. So my concern is we're not going to quite get back to what we wanted. So it leaves me with this kind of dreaded feeling of, oh, shall I just look forward to season 13? Shall I look forward to them finding a missing episode? Shall I look forward to maybe Big Finish appealing to me one day?
There's Doctor Who on BBC Radio 4 Extra. They're doing some repeats on there.
But you see, the Ghosts of End Space and stuff like that, at the time, we were so desperate in the wilderness years that I tuned in. It didn't grab me. I bought the book, Slipback. Nah, didn't grab me. It has to be, for me, I need to see my Doctor Who on the TV. And all this Big Finish and, we've got a special with, they might, we've got a CBB series, we've got this. It's just not Doctor Who. And this is my concern, that it's gradually just going to go away and it's going to be forgotten. And maybe Stephen Moffat had it right. Maybe he foretold it when he had the Trenzor Law and that TARDIS discarded and growing weeds by the side. You got that impression that basically that's maybe what's going to happen. Doctor Who will just be that lovely thing somebody remembered once.
Well, that's a distinct possibility. As a lot of fans are saying, it's still an IP. It still has potential in terms of production at some point if someone wants to bring it back. The question is, who will want to bring it back and under what conditions? My guess is to get the quality that you and I crave, we'll have to end up seeing someone who creates it as a fan and posts it out on YouTube somewhere, and all of a sudden the BBC's antenna prick up and they say, "Oh my gosh, people are actually responding to that version of the show. Maybe we can commission them to give us that version because it's obviously resonating." But it may take something like that to get the quality that we want to see.
You can get quality quite quickly, like this. It's dead easy. It's dead easy. I mean, I mean, I know Dwayne has told me that the Chris Eccleston series on Big Finish is not bad. So you've got options there. But my concern is just where we heading, because I can't keep watching Talons of Wen Cheyenne. I can't keep watching Robots of Death on this kind of perpetual loop to the point where I forget why I really adored it at the beginning. As in, I can always see the quality, but my snag is I don't want to lose the original memory and experience.
Well,
And
that's
you
it.
will.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? You just don't watch them too often. Otherwise, it loses its speciality. It's what made it special to you. This is why I don't watch all the episodes all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I almost feel like I need to do. It does worry me that, and that's why I just by playing with old classic Who, I start to feel a little bit better. So just as a kind of treat, because everybody, honestly, this is what we should be doing with old Who. And if you want to DM me, everybody, with which cliffhanger of scene from Doctor Who you'd love me to mess with me and Garbage on Garbage Who, we could do it. But poor old Gooch, surrounded by baked beans.
I understand you've lost a couple of scientists. Oh, no.
What's wrong? It's Gooch. It's Gooch.
Look for yourself.
Gooch must have left in quite a hurry.
Yes. Yes, he must.
There you go. Make your own stuff. That's where we ended up last time, Jeremy and Christian, is fans started making their own stuff. I remember when I was backpacking around Australia and there was a little Doctor Who fan group in Western Australia, Perth, and they were making a Doctor Who movie. And it just looked like Peter Cushing as the Doctor. It was fab to watch bits of it. They had a desert. And I almost feel as though that's what we need. Grassroots start again.
I remember fans making a Doctor Who movie on Super 8 when Doctor Who was still on TV.
Yeah. And do you know what, Christian? I think that's maybe where, when we all saw that, when RTD said goodbye on Doctor Who magazine for now, and he also went on Newsround and he said the new writers will probably be Newsround viewers. In other words, between 8 and 12 years old. In other words, we need... Maybe he was actually telling us right in front of our faces that Doctor Who will come back one day with a new breed of writers in about 10, 20 years' time.
And that's a very cogent point. You've got to have a new generation come up and create a new version of the show. The question is, will they base it on, say, RTD2, or will they base it on Peter Hinchcliffe? What version will they pattern the show after at that point? Or will it be something entirely original that we three haven't considered here?
Yeah, I can see people liking the Gooch sauce. That's thanks to Garbage Who, his channel. Tune it out and give him a lovely subscription. It makes sense. I've got Matt McGee here. Good to see you. And I've clicked on the wrong button. Oh, isn't that great? Got home early enough from work to catch a live stream. Talk about winning. Hope you gents are doing well and have a blessed Sunday. Of course. And the same back to you, Matt. Then we've got the Peter... I know. I don't have to go away. The original Doctor Who encouraged diversity of thought and creativity and the temperance of ignorance. Something current Who does not. There is a lot of it, and I must admit, I'm not moaning in many ways. I like jumping around, you know. I might have a look at the War Machine soon and stuff like that. I saw you people saying Blake 7 season 2 on Blu-ray. I was talking to the lads in Belfast, the team behind the upgrade and the special effects, and I got a sneak preview, and whoa, very nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah, I can appreciate other sci-fi. But there's something in that little heart that says, can we just have a little bit more lovely Doctor Who? I mean, what, Christian, honestly, what would cheer you up? What type of episode would you go, oh yeah, that is just right on the money?
I like anything dark, gothic, that will keep me riveted in my seat. If I look at probably one of the most recent stories, something that's very, I don't know, it changes your perspective on things. Flatline, I liked something like that could bring me out and get my attention. On the other hand, if it were something like, oh, I don't know, Rogue, that wouldn't do it for me. That would be kind of the antithesis of what I'm looking for in terms of stakes and riveting concepts.
My trouble is when people talk about Big Finish, I'll talk about, well, wait 20 years, and if we're here, we might get a new version of Doctor Who. The trouble is, there's no guarantee that that future generation who might bring Doctor Who back might do something like saying, our starting point is going to be something like Rogue. Our starting point is going to be the Timeless Children. There's no guarantee. And that's why I think me and Jeremy are really on the money, saying, look, you can make a new Miss Marple series. How many Miss Marples have there been? How many Sherlock Holmes have there been? Can we just have a Tarzans, you know? Can we just have a new version of Doctor Who? Just a new one. Leave this alone. Stop the linear effect. I think us fans have to stop that now. Because otherwise, you have to then put up with a Carvanista, Flux, Timeless Children, blah, 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 and hope for a Deadly Assassin to appear. Well, you can wait as long as you want. That bus is not coming.
True.
Yeah, sorry, folks. So, yes, I'm going to be watching The Mind Robber Part 3 in a minute, so please, everyone, commiserate on that one. Christian, when you get around to watching some more Doctor Who, what would it be? You know, what's your next one? What are you looking forward to?
Well, the chances are, if I get back to watching it, I'll probably go back and watch some of the available stories from the 60s. I've seen so much recently for obvious reasons. We've been reviewing. And really, I'd seen a lot of the stuff that came out past 2005. So I want to go back earlier, and I want to go back and revisit stories that I've not seen in a long time, probably from the 60s. So, and of course, people know one of my favorite versions of the Doctor is Troughton, so I tend to go back and migrate to catch some of his iterations.
It's such a shame there's so much missing on that one. Jeremy,
Yeah.
what you might be in the middle of re-watching something. What are you in the middle of or about to watch with Garden Doctor Who?
It's a good question. I'm not actually watching Doctor Who at the moment. I'm so busy
Yeah.
doing these props and things that I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the show.
So
Well,
you're
actually, that's the nice thing, Jeremy, though, about going back and catching classic Who, because it's serialized. Now that I'm back in the classroom again, I don't have time to binge watch, but I can sit down and digest one installment of a story at a time during the course of a week and get a Doctor Who fix, if that's the way I want to play it.
well, this is the.
Either that or I watch the Web Planet a million times.
I know. I keep hitting the same point when I gave up on it. Although I could gladly pick up the Target book, the Zarbi, and read that and enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah.
I have to say, Bill Strutton, it really did fire me up, that one. It really did. I remember being on holiday. I think there's a page or two that has been discolored by suntan lotion. I remember taking the Zarbi book away with me for a Spanish holiday. Absolutely. The memories are so visceral on that one. And you know, I might have been in Spain. I wasn't. I was on the Web Planet, and I was kind of, when you lay on the beach on the sand and on the towel, and you're reading, and you're reading, and you're reading, and I have to say, I do remember the reading the Zarbi, so I can do it that way. And maybe there's a way I need to look back at some of the great classics of the Target books, because they really touch base with my memories. I remember that little library that wheeled between primary school classrooms, and you could get the Auton Invasion, you could get the Cave Monsters. There were what was it called? The Doomsday Weapon.
Doomsday Weapon, yeah. Claw. What's it? Well, Colony in Space. Yes.
Yeah. Now, Peter, this is the classic. It is called a detention club tonight, and now I've detained you. I'm now going to be in trouble. Peter Harrington, Mind Robber is class, Brendan. Loved Troughton's last season. I love Troughton full stop. His doctor is so engaging. Not knocking Troughton. Story. Lee Smith is telling me the Web Planet's fantastic. Oh, God. We've started a fight now.
I have to say that episode 1 of the Web Planet is very good. And then sadly it goes downhill.
Yeah. So fight still continues. Paul Richards, Mind Robber is a surreal masterpiece. I agree with the word Mind Robber is I don't know if I can complete that sentence. It is surreal. I think I can. Yeah, it is surreal. You all know me on these streams. I struggle with the fantasy elements sometimes. When it goes very fantasy, I liked Star Trek The Next Generation until bloody Q arrived. And then I thought, bye.
How about Enemy of the World? Like that one.
Yeah, that was good. Farsight, I think I'll go and watch Day of the Daleks. Well, of course. And in my news bite tomorrow, you will see a bit of reporting from Alderley House. Yes. Here we are at Alderley House. Peace Summit. You've got Craig Dunlap. I love the Mind Robber. Oh, God, I'm in the minority. I remember as a child, the noise those white robots made scared the hell out of me at the time. Look, I understand that. I understand that. You've also got to understand, Craig, I'm watching it as a bloke, as an adult, having not seen it and got that lovely link you've got. And to me, oh, dear, I'm trying.
Well, I like the Crotons. And not a lot of people like the Crotons, and I like the Crotons.
But do we like the Crotons because of the Five Faces of Doctor Who? And it was to me, that was my first Troughton that I ever saw, and I was mesmerised by that. And the Crotons was really acceptable. In fact, on a little black and white telly in my bedroom with my audio going, and I could see that. I've forgotten the name of it now. When it came up, the Dino trope.
The Dino Probe.
Yeah, and it was that kind of serpent. It was actually a cousin of the same kind of serpent that was in Death of the Daleks, Exelon.
Yeah. Root.
Whoa. Yeah, the Root. Whoa. Yeah, it was all great. And I loved it. I always thought they had a Brummie accent. Somebody said they were South African, but to me,
South African, I think it was. Yeah,
they sounded so Brummie. I thought
Have you destroyed it?
Yeah, that's true.
I like the voices. I like the electronic voices to the Crotons. They're quite.
And I love the scene when he and the Doctor and Zoe are trying to kind of talk instead of to stop the concentration of all that, And I don't know. You had Philip Maddock again. Philip Maddock in Doctor Who is always lovely to watch. Now we've got I love State of Decay, watched it numerous times. So after this, watch our review of State of Decay, and I'll cheer you up by when you watch that, and my panel judged it. We also have When Sutek Sleeps, and as you know, I've been very consistent on canon. Sutek is on the TARDIS. Space. That'll cheer you up. Graham, Brendan, the Mind Robber even had Weetabix white robots. Well, I'll have them.
Yeah.
I'll have them. The white robots are fine, actually. And even the cute toy soldiers. No problem at all. The Master, was, I mean, he's the master, but you've got the master later. I mean, the
Ah,
master.
they
What?
could colorize that, and then they could just say this is a new version of the master.
Oh, he's getting
just
stressed. Right, that's
just reimagine it's the master.
Jeremy. Jeremy, right? Everybody, did you hear what Jeremy said? Wash his mouth out. But look, I've got a way of doing it. It's called my toxic alert. Yeah, toxic alert. Sorry, Jeremy. How did you even say that with a straight face?
I was joking.
Joking. He's struck off my Christmas card list. You've just given them ideas that they're going. Oh, we'll
I
have
think
the.
they already have those ideas. I
I
think.
know, I know. The war chief. The war chief is the master, and the master is the war chief. Is the Oh my
As
god!
Phil Collinson said, just reimagine it. Just reimagine it.
You're doing too. Get back to your bloody merchandise, you Jeremy. And get sorting that Cyberman out. Honestly, the Oracle here.
He's here.
Web Planet has so many philosophical levels. It's like Japanese kabuki, is it? Mixed with Greek tragedy. We can't quite see it, Jeremy, because
No,
of your background.
leading.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh well.
Web Planet, I agree, though. I agree. It's a really good story. I really enjoy it. Absolutely. And I think you should always read the book first. Graham, to be honest, I do think Crotons is super, but I do agree it's probably mostly due to the Five Faces repeat. Or, do you know what? If you had to go back in a time capsule, we'll call it a TARDIS. I'd love to go back to being that age and watching the Five Faces series. I really would. That was a magical time. It really was. I mean, is there anything that surpasses that, Jeremy or Christine?
The Five Doctors. That was quite magical. Watching that.
Now I'm
I
saying
have a
this.
hard time thinking of one.
Well, Christian, I'm aware we're saying Five Faces, but you didn't get the Five Faces of Doctor Who in America, did you?
No.
What
So
about
that's one I'd have to look for to see.
what about
I
Doctor
feel-
Who and the Monsters when they did that repeat?
Yeah, it's almost like
Curse of Peladon.
the way that there was. I even like the trailer for the Five Faces of Doctor Who, and I'm so sorry I'm saying this out loud. And Christian's going, yeah, he can't make that connection. It's so. Christian, it was magical. You know, we're of an age. What was this? 1981. So I was what, 12. Oh God, this is peak Doctor Who. You've just lost Tom Baker's Doctor, so you're thinking, whoa, what's going to happen next? And then you get this amazing series that lasts 5 weeks. I was a bit irritated when they showed Logopolis again. I thought, oh, for God's sake. I wanted another repeat. They used up one. But yeah, Carnival of Monsters, I think I have an affection for. Good story, but every sound in that is instilled in my head because I played the audio obsessively. Same with the Crotons. And the sound of An Unearthly Child, that episode 1. Episodes 2 to 4, it was all on audio, so all I heard was fire, so I didn't play much of that, but I did love episode 1. So yeah, happy times.
You
Is
have
there a
to be
time,
there.
Christian? Is there another time? I mean, as a Doctor Who fan, is there a time you'd love to go in a TARDIS back to?
Are we talking during the run of Doctor Who or during the run of history?
Doctor Who.
During the run of Doctor Who, I'd like to go back, really. I'd really like to go back to 1963. I'd really like to go back and watch the creation as it unfolded, be a witness to the discussion. Wouldn't it be interesting to be a fly on the wall as the discussions are taking place? Yes, we've heard people talk about their memories of it, but wouldn't it be interesting to watch it actually unfold in real time? And watch it. There are a few key moments in the 60s, such as, okay, the decision to finally recast William Hartnell and watch that unfold in real time.
I must admit, when you hear, I mean, Colin Baker tells the story so well that he was stood there as a uni student in his house share, and this program comes on, and he said, I was still stood by my stairs watching it when it finished episode 1. And so that taps into what you're saying. You're thinking, wow, to be grabbed by a TV program that you didn't expect to be grabbed by at a time you didn't expect. I mean, I'm sure he said he was old enough that he was going out, and yet this program just mesmerized him and captivated him. I have to say, that's rare in TV now.
It was like me when I was watching Spare from Space in 1970. I was captured by it.
Well, this is one of the changes, though, in when we talk again about how people consume media. Now, the capacity to stream, to pause, to come back later, it's automatic. No one has must-see TV anymore. It doesn't exist. So to go back to a time where if you want to catch it at all, you have to be there and observe, to digest it, to enjoy it. What a wonderful time to return to, so you could enjoy it in that way. It's a
Farsight earlier said, watch The Invasion. I must admit, I know, I'm so tempted. Once the Mind Rob is over, The Invasion, although then the problem is there's not so many complete Troughton stories, and I don't want to overuse them. It's, God, it's just a killer. This is what I mean, folks. When it's not on telly and you haven't got new, beautiful material, you don't want to start ruining everything else. But hopefully you've enjoyed the memory lane bit, everybody, and we're all here for each other. As Farsight says, my dad had just come home from work when An Unearthly Child came on the TV, and that was him hooked. Isn't it funny? Because as Sidney Newman said, he wanted a link between Grandstand and Jukebox Jury. He wanted a link between the dads and the teenagers, and then they came up with Doctor Who. And as he says, his dad was hooked. Colin Baker, sounds as though he was between 18 and 20, was hooked. Wow. God. Oh, what a time. What a time. At least we had it. You've got to say, at least we had it. Now, everybody, remember, Newsbite. I will do a Newsbite tomorrow with some really tasty new information from the source, so look out for that. Get your notifications on. If you've not seen the Sense for You before, we've only done about 360 shows now in 2 minutes. Please like and subscribe. We're not going anywhere. On Twitter, I'm at Sensosphere, or sensosphere@gmail.com. When I came up with the name for this channel, I never realized that when you say Sensosphere, it just gets, it's a mess. It's a mess. I should have called it something else. But anyway, the Sensosphere, because we talk sense, we hopefully make sense about all the Doctor Who nonsense. That was the plan. That was the plan, apparently. So anyway, thank you. And have a good night, everybody. Mind Robber Part 3. Okay, you lot have said it's a masterpiece, so me and Jamie are, whoa, masterpiece is on its way. Thank you, Jeremy, for your time tonight. And thank you for giving us your time from you-know-what. Your cyber gun, your cyber helmet, restoring everything. I mean, he's a one-man factory there.
And
Christian, Christian, all the best with work. Thank you for obviously being on a lot recently. We'll have you on again if you can, but I know you'll be marking. Sorry about that. Glad I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway,
teacher's work is never done.
It isn't, is it? And we moan about it so well as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. See you tomorrow with News Bites. Bye.
Ta-ta, ta-ta.